So today I almost got in a fight at the gym over a cable machine. Fun, right? And it gave me the idea for this video, which is I want to share with you not only how I handled that situation today, but also how I handle conflict broadly, as well as situations where I may have been wronged. And today I want to give you both the mindset strategies I've used and also tangible strategies you can use to apply in relationships, workplace environments, or any other situation you might encounter that, you deal with, what. So I was on a cable machine, the one with there's like two, like the Smith machine, there's a pull-up bar in the middle and you have like two sides. Both sides I was doing like a chest pull-up thing, and both the machines had the same like equipment on both sides, so it was apparent that both were being used. I was on one side stretching. The guy came in, had headphones on, started adjusting the thing up, and I was like, hey. He didn't hear me, so I raised my voice, and then he like freaked out. Like, what the F? You're acting like I'm gonna kill you. Chill out. And he was just super aggro, bigger guy, might have been on steroids, I don't know. And immediately, that's the kind of fork in the road that I think a lot of people get confused on. And so immediately, what I did was just de-escalate. Now, even though in that moment, I knew he was being an asshole and I wasn't being aggressive. I'm not an aggressive person. And I just wanted to work out. Even though in that moment I knew I was right, if I fight fire with fire, it's only gonna escalate. Now, I think that trips a lot of people up because if they think they're right, they need to assert themselves and how right they are to the other person to get them to see that they're wrong, which is suboptimal for a number of different reasons. One is, in the moment when that person's pissed off, they're not gonna see the error of their ways, right? The more activated, the more angry, the more emotion you get, your prefrontal cortex goes offline. And also, when you assert yourself as being right and the other person's wrong, it actually strengthens their position. So there's no point in getting into it, right? Your ego is gonna get you in trouble. So even though in that moment I knew I was right, I said sorry. I wasn't trying to be aggressive. I was just trying to let you know I was on the machine. And he stormed off. That's also effective because it doesn't really give them much to fight with, right? I'm not pouring gas on the fire, I'm pouring water by saying sorry. Now, you could say, oh, you just said sorry because he was bigger than you. And yeah, that guy could have killed me. But I also would have done the same thing if he was smaller than me. Like, do I need to get into a fight at the gym in a foreign country? Like, is this worth it? Not only that, the potential ramifications of getting into it, but it's also just like, it's gonna cost me my time of thinking about it. Because it already bothered me for probably like 15 minutes after the situation. I was like, what the heck just happened here? And if I got in a fight, it's only gonna fuel that fire and I'm gonna be pissed off more. So one key takeaway to understand here is, you don't need to be right, you need to get what you want. Okay, in this situation, I just wanted to finish my workout. I think there's a phrase from 48 Laws of Power, which I highly recommend. It's like, suffer fools gladly. If you get into it with every idiot in the world, you're gonna be a busy person because there's a lot of idiots. Who knows? Maybe I'm just a big wimp, but I don't think fighting in that situation made any sense. Or I'd be like, or me saying, hey, you're being an a-hole, that's just gonna piss him off more and he's gonna put his line in the sand and one of us is gonna have to budge. So again, how many situations, think about this because a lot of people do this, probably everyone. How many situations have you been in where your need to be right got in the way of getting what you want? I mean, the ego, it will bury you if you let it. And that's another reason, what is it like? I don't have a lot of strong opinions. I mean, the more you have an opinion, the more you just like, you have to defend it. I'm not saying I don't have opinions on things, but I think like, about politics or about religion, like, do you? I don't care. I really don't care. If this guy's an a-hole, sure. Do I need to be right? No, I don't care. I care about getting what I want. I saw this so often with patients having marital problems. Oh my gosh. That's like, I think one of the biggest factors, one of the most common denominators of marital conflict is like the desire to be right. Yeah, I mean, I never did marital therapy. I'd rather get, I don't know, my toenails pulled off or something, but I would say a key pivotal point. I mean, my career as a psychologist, I obviously learned a couple tools along the way, but before I got my PhD, I was in a graduate program for counselor education because my plan was to go back to Thailand and be a school counselor, my original plan. And during that time, another situation where I really had to like let go of my ego was I was working at this private practice because I was doing like a internship or whatever it's called. And I don't think it's called that in the master's program, but I forget. Anyways, I was working for this person at a private practice, and during the interview, she's like, yeah, I pay all my interns. She didn't have to do that, by the way. So she's like, I pay all my interns. I'm like, awesome. And she's telling me how much they pay. And I was like, wow, I'm going to be making all this money as an intern. And then, I started to never get paid. And then I talked to other interns that were there, and they're like, yeah, this person promised they were going to pay us. They never did. And I just kind of realized this person was a mess. Like admin wise, it did a lot of like ethically questionable things, I would say. At the time though, I'm an intern and I need her signature to sign off that I get X amount of hours to get my degree. And that's the book that ultimately led, I don't know how I found the book, but that's why I found 48 Laws of Power. And I realized in that situation, I had no power and I needed to play chess, not checkers. So, even though I couldn't stand this person, I had a lot of anger towards them because they lied to me, and I don't like being lied to, shocker. I needed them, and I needed their approval so I could get my degree. And so I acted like I liked them. I acted like I respected them. I acted like I was interested in what they were saying. I'm here to play chess. I'm here to get what I want. In this case was the degree. If I put my foot in the sand and said, you told me you were gonna pay me and you said blah, 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 who knows what she would have done? She's like, maybe she'd been like, I will, or maybe you're right, or maybe I would have got a bad review. Not worth it in the grand scheme. It's not worth risking my degree. This guy at the gym was not worth risking my workout or my freedom or my health. You don't need to be right. You need to get what you want. So if you're constantly coming up to obstacles in situations and you're not getting what you want, really take an inventory to see, is your desire to be right and your assertion to be right getting in the way of that? Because the ego, I mean, it's a tricky, sneaky little pain in the butt. And I have no delusions that my opinion doesn't matter. I don't care if people think I'm right, wrong, stupid, dumb. That's fine. It's almost like this opposite thing. Like you can feigning weakness is actually strength sometimes, if it gets you what you want. They talk about this in 33 Strategies of War, also by Robert Greene, who wrote 40 Laws of Power. Like you don't need a huff and puff to be strong. Another thing to think about is what I'm about to say going to get me the outcome I want? Or is what I'm about to say, gonna just stroke my ego? It's gonna defend my position. It's gonna make me look powerful. It's gonna make me look strong. It's gonna help me save face. When you act on ego, when you act on emotion, you're playing checkers. And most of the world plays checkers. Start playing chess by acting in a way that's going to get you what you want. Which means not only you have to take your own kind of feelings into account, but you have to take the other person's feelings and interest into account. You have to think outside of yourself. Most people are in their own little ego world. Me, 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 me. I'm right, I'm smart, I'm special. You're not. And I'm not either. And again, that's the kind of paradox. I think what makes me more effective than a lot of people is that I know I'm not, SHIT. I know I'm not special. So I encourage you all to do an inventory of this, because this will allow you to level up a lot in life, especially in workplace environments. Dealing with coworkers. Do you need to be right, or do you need to move up the ladder or get your paycheck? Maybe you don't want to move up the ladder. I encourage you all to kind of audit the types of situations you're running into where you might be having difficulties? And is your desire to be right in that moment getting in the way of that? If it is, I encourage you to begin to try to let it go and ask yourself, what is effective in this moment to get what I want? And to ask yourself, what do I want in this moment, or broadly speaking, or long term? And what can I do to act in a way that's going to move me towards that? Telling my boss she's a piece of crap is not going to help me get my degree. Telling this guy, you're an overreacted steroid monkey is not going to help the situation. I could have been like, dude, what the hell? You could see someone's on these machines. The common courtesy thing here is to ask, hey, are you on this? That's initially what the ego wants to do. Hey, dummy, use some common sense. You have half a brain cell because you're all on steroids. You stupid, right? Not effective. So you can feel those emotions and you can feel those thoughts and you can feel that anger right there, but the superpower is choosing when to express it versus not. If you're going to react on your emotions without doing an inventory of how effective they are in that moment, you're going to run into trouble. On the extreme end, you're going to go to prison. However, being able to flexibly select the appropriate behavior in the moment, great goal to strive for. Take care.